What's going on, everybody? So here we are doing another hot mic, and what we're going to be doing today is just kind of answering some of your general questions that you guys may have, as I'm sure many of you guys have a ton of questions. So we're just going to hit the ground running. So I want to thank everybody for stopping by today, and with that, we're just going to get started with the hot mic. So for those of you that may not have noticed, I have been doing some testing and a lot of work on the LG B10. I gotta say, it's going pretty well. I'm pretty impressed with what I'm seeing so far, and I've got some settings that are gonna just absolutely blow everyone's mind. I really can't wait. So after this hot mic, I'm gonna put up my video comparison against the A8G, and that comparison that I did was just really incredible. I really loved what I was seeing come out of the B10. Very, very good stuff. But I'm gonna say what's up to you guys joining the chat now. What's going on, Jeff? You said just me on this chat? No, other people are here. It just takes some time for everybody to come on in. What's going on, Michael? Welcome. Thanks for coming out tonight. Dane, what's happening? Good evening, everyone, is what Dane says. What's going on, man? What about the Z8H? I don't really mess with a lot of Sony TVs nowadays because they are made to a lower quality than what they used to be made at, unfortunately. So when we're talking about Sony now, I mean, if you're not talking about like the A8H or something equivalent to that, it's just not going to be worth your time. Their LED TVs have gotten worse for blooming and all that other stuff. So what's going on, Messy Marv? What's going on, Marco? You said realist in the game. I appreciate that. I definitely, certainly try to at least be honest and transparent about everything, so I appreciate that. What's going on, Chintu Pat? What's going on, Chosen One? Nice to see everybody here tonight. Jeff asks, what flagship is equivalent to the Z8H? Well, it's kind of a tricky question because, I mean, Sony is class leading with their picture processing, so with Sony you can expect clarity and depth, superb noise reduction handling. Motion typically is better than some manufacturers, though that's kind of tapering off now. Sony has a lot more artifacts these days. But as far as comparable, it really just depends on what you're looking at. You can make an argument and say, you know, maybe something like a Samsung could be equivalent to it at that particular price point, or, you know, I don't know, you can even go for some OLEDs from LG if you chose to, but it really just depends on usage for most of these things. It's not really just like a clear cut and dry, like this one's just comparable and equivalent, because it might be good at some things but then fail miserably at other things, if that makes sense. What's going on, King Gummy Bear 1? What's going on? You said, any TV you have heard that will be coming out in 2021 that'll be under $2,000 in QLED? I mean, yeah, you can kind of expect every year the 900 series from Sony, the Q60 series, Q70, Q80 series from Samsung, Hisense with their H9 and H8 series, whatever, you know, they put on the end of that. Those are usually going to be the main ones. Usually nano cells like the Nano 90 series or whatever, you know, those kinds of things you can typically expect to be under even $1,000 in some cases, depending on sale prices. What's going on, Michael? He said, I got the Sony X900H. Think it's faulty when I turn on HDR in game mode. It looks like HDR is off, or rather you said when I turn on HDR in any game, it looks like HDR is off. And when I turn off HDR, it also looks like, hold on, it looks like it's on. Okay, also PS4 Pro UI changed as well. It's really difficult because a lot of people are expecting, you know, the X900H to be a phenomenal HDR experience. Sony is one of the weakest performers with HDR in my personal opinion, and after testing and comparing to a bunch of other TVs, the science kind of supports that as well. So I really think that, you know, it's just kind of the limitation of the X900H when it comes to HDR. You would have to go with something like, you know, a Hisense H9G, a Samsung QLED starting at like the Q90T level or higher. You know, it wasn't always that way, but that's just kind of how it is now. Unless you could find like legacy TVs like a Sony X930D or like a Z9D back when they had like the necessary peak brightness to go to the next level, but that's neither here nor now, you know. What's going on, Stanley? You said, sup Q, it's been a while, I've missed, you said, I missed those Friday Eve lives. You said, you need to go back to the basics, bro. Yeah, I mean, I figured I'd just do these like twice a month. I don't really have, I guess, the stamina to do too much more than that. And I don't really think there's that much more to talk about, but I appreciate you coming out, man. What's going on? Twitter. Banging on excerpt? I don't know what's going on, man. You said win in 2021. We've got, I really hope Samsung ups their game next year. I need a new TV. Yeah, hopefully. I hear they're doing it too. They're supposedly working on some monster mini LED to kind of take a lot of the sting out of what TCL's been trying to do in the QLED market. So I hear Samsung is trying not to sleep on TCL and really show them how mini LED is done. Now, I'd like to see if those claims hold true, but that's what the rumors suggest anyway. I got the Sony X900H. I already got that one. It's just loading. Light Peach, what's going on? We've got Chintu Pat, you said, I'm confused about the Xbox Series X. HDMI 2.1, 40 gigabits per second or 48 gigabits per second. Honestly speaking, you can do 4K at 120 hertz with chroma sampling, 444, and the BT 2020 or 12-bit color. So I think, I mean, if it is 40 gigabits per second, they're using DSC or something like that. But either way, it's irrelevant because that's something that the C10 had trouble doing. And I think it's just kind of like a limitation more so of the television. But again, none of these things that anybody you're talking about right now is being addressed fairly. I feel like a lot of conversation is happening around how many gigabits per second is the Xbox and PlayStation 5 and all that. And I feel like it's kind of like steering more towards just trying to justify giving us substandard HDMI 2.1. I feel like that's a lot of what we're seeing happen now. Especially from guys like HDTV Test and FOMO. I think that's pretty unfortunate, but that's just what we're seeing. Because when you really look at HDR and you look at HDMI 2.1, you're seeing a lot of things happen when you start turning on VRR, where you're not even getting the VRR or the HDR at the same time. It's just like such just nonsense that people are trying to tell you that the bandwidth is not necessary, as if there's no benefit you could possibly see with having full HDMI 2.1. So my message to everybody watching this stream is this: regardless of whether it's 32 gigabits per second, 40, or whatever else they come out with in the future, if you really want to future-proof yourself, just get the full specification and ignore literally everything else, because nothing else matters. If you want the future-proof specification, that's how you do it. We've got, what's your opinion on the Samsung Q800T? I think it's garbage. They really just went out of their way to make an entry-level 8K model that would snag a lot of budget buyer, entry buyer consumers, and, you know, trying to at least get them into the 8K line for a premium price. And it's really crappy because, you know, it still has blooming. I remember seeing a hell of a lot of it, and it's not something that I would recommend. I mean, I don't even know how you get blooming on that. I mean, coming out of especially the Q9FN era, or the Q8FN era, and all that other stuff, where those TVs were buttoned up damn near perfectly, and now we have TVs that look like so much worse than anything that I've seen Samsung do in a while. So it's definitely not a TV I would recommend. Is Hisense coming out with a 75-inch H9G for 2021? I have no idea. Contrary to some people's popular belief, I definitely don't work for Hisense or any manufacturer, so I don't know. Nobody discusses these things with me. So I've got to wait to find out like you guys do. I bought the LG 32-inch UL500 4K 60 HDR monitor, waiting till 2021 for something better with HDMI 2.1, 4K 120. Hey, as long as it holds you over, that's all that matters. Should you AHG settings work about as well on the A8H? I couldn't wait. I mean, I've heard that my A8G settings work very, very well, but I haven't had the chance to actually test it myself, but I have heard other members say that yes, it does work. Hey Q, my brother purchased the A8H for his PS5. I'm assuming he can't connect he can't connect. Wait, he can't use the HDMI 2.1, correct? Is there anything he can do to get close to its quality? So the AAH is going to be limited by HDMI 2.0, but you're on the PS5, and that's not really much of a problem because, as PlayStation and even Xbox said, 4K 60 is that output for this gen. That's what they're after. So I really don't know why any console gamer is getting hung up over the ability to do a 120 hertz low resolution performance mode. You know what I mean? Like low texture and all that stuff. I think you're better off just sticking with 4K 60, honestly. But in the event that you want more, I mean, you can always do 120 hertz mode with 1080p. That's the best you can do on PlayStation until they add 1440p. Yes, and then you can probably try to do 1440 at 120, and then there you go. If you have Xbox, you can do 1440 120 all day, every day. So it's just kind of like one of those limitations there. But that's about the only thing that he can really do, is just go for a lower resolution 120 hertz performance option. What's going on, Enoch? You said, what's good, Quantum? Just simply want to thank you for the settings for the X900E calibration and X930E. I also own the H8E from 2018. Well, I appreciate that, man. I hope you're continuing to enjoy the settings as I put more out and things start changing and things like that. I really hope you enjoy it. I'm still kind of hooked on my HDR settings I did for the 900E. I think those really turned out quite well. But yeah, I appreciate you showing the love, man, and thanks for coming out tonight. We've got another question that says, the H9Q55 for the low when 2021 TVs coming out. I don't know what that means. Maybe. I don't really know. I guess you mean, like, is it going to be lower in price? I would imagine, but I don't really know. What's going on, Quantum? Great content. Thank you, Jovan. We've got the TCL 6 Series, the Series 6, decent just for gaming, or should I go with the Q80T? I can't find the Hisense H9G at any store. That would be my choice. Well, I mean, if you're stateside, you can wait a little bit. Best Buy has been pretty decent about restocking the H9Gs within about a week, you know, after selling out. So they've been pretty good about that. Amazon's terrible with it so far. I wouldn't settle if I were you, because, you know, somewhere doesn't have a TV that you would have gone with. I think compromising is a way to get something you ultimately didn't really want. The Q80T I do not recommend. It is just a downgraded Q70R. I really do not recommend that TV. You got the Q6, where they're the R635. That's an okay TV, but they have black crush problems, and they also have some nasty black level issues from time to time with blooming that are pretty unforgivable. So I don't know. I would still steer you towards the H9G and have you wait and try to find it, or wait till next year.
I can do this all day.
We've got Leo that says, hey, can you recommend a 43-inch TV strictly for streaming at Netflix? That's a very difficult size. I mean, the TVs just don't come in those sizes at really good quality anymore. It's kind of like your best bet is to try to go back in the annals of time and maybe try to find, I don't know, you know, maybe like the Samsung Q50 series, or maybe like a Vizio that's of that size if you can find one, but only a Vizio with full array local dimming. But even still, smaller screen sizes are like being basically killed off. So I don't really have much to say about that one. Quantum is the Ricky Gervais version of YouTube. TV reviewing, harsh, crude, ruthless, and honest. I mean, the only difference, I guess, would be I actually believe in God. Ricky Gervais doesn't. And, you know, there are some differences there. I mean, I don't know if I try to be so much as crude as just kind of just to the point and putting everything out there unapologetically. Because the reality is, you know, when you do that, I mean, I'm sure you guys all know it. Nobody wants the truth until, or nobody wants to be lied to until, you know, you give them the truth, and then now you're this horrible person, and everybody's like, oh my god, how could you say this truthful thing that I wasn't expecting you to say, you know? And I think that's the hard thing with running a channel like this. It's like, you deal with everybody's opinions. They are so used to reviews being positive and everyone glowing, because they don't realize behind the scene there's a lot of paper to be made in this business. And dudes are out here literally just attaching affiliate link after affiliate link. So I think it's really difficult, but hey, if I come off crude and rude and unapologetic, hey, at least I got the honesty at the end of that comment, so I definitely appreciate at least that acknowledgement. And shout out to Martin Salinas for your donation of $10. It really does help us grow. You said, love your content, you're the best. I appreciate that, man. You said, what would you like to see in the 2021 TV models? Well, I'm a bit of a dreamer, if you will. I don't think what I want will ever come true, but essentially what I'm looking for is like total control. So I want direct access to all the color spaces. I want there to kind of be like a way that you can have something like a histogram in there so you can see where you're clipping and all that stuff, like for color grading and videography and things like that. I want them to build stuff like that into TVs. I want them to add consumer guides in there so that people can see exactly how to tune their TVs and what's an inappropriate level, because we hear all the time your TV's inaccurate or this doesn't look reference accurate. But how about the TV manufacturer puts a reference accurate point for what they make their TV out to be and say, hey, listen, this is accurate, and then we go off of that. I mean, I could go on for endless hours about like the pipe dreams of stuff that I would want, but essentially I would want to see like really true innovation, stuff that's never been done before. I'm tired of them taking the safe route of just going for the AI features, the sound features, the Wi-Fi based features. I mean, like, you can only do that for so long before it grows stale, you know. Even the mainstream shill paid out reviewers are getting sick and tired of WebOS and some other smart features and platforms. So I really want to see them really just deliver something we've never seen before. And I think that's what you want when you go with a new product, right? It's supposed to be new, like having this brand new experience that you couldn't get anywhere else. And you're just not getting that anymore in today's market. They're ripping off old TVs from like last year and years prior. So yeah, long story short, I just want to see some massive innovation forward, and I really hope that they do that. But I definitely appreciate you helping the channel out. As you know, it definitely does help us out a ton, man. So I appreciate that. Hey Q, what do you think? Do you think Sony will up their game in 2021 in regards to putting HDMI 2.1 in all their TVs? I can't wait for the virtual CES 2021. Yeah, I think they're gonna put HDMI 2.1 back in. It's been the main complaint by a lot of people. They've been getting ragged on, so I'd be really shocked if they didn't have a brain to do that. I mean, it would be literally like the biggest missed opportunity, especially since we're in November right now. Like, what did they do with all that time of listening to consumers, you know? I think it would be a really bad showing for Sony if they didn't do that. And yeah, the virtual CES, I mean, I honestly don't think it would have made any difference whether it was virtual or on stage or not, because every year I watch it from the house anyway, so I don't really care, you know, one way or another. I'm sure like people that like use these events to try to like make connections with product managers are going to be pretty bummed because now they can't get their sponsor that they're looking for. But I think for us regular folk, it won't make a difference either way, right? So what we have is a comment from Michael now, and you said, thanks for responding, but I think TVs is doing the opposite. On Warzone, it looks like HDR, but screen goes black and just turns back on, and picture is totally different. I don't know, maybe you've got a defect or something. Maybe it's something you can ask the manufacturer's IT team. I don't know. I couldn't really tell you. Sometimes TVs just do funky things too. LOL, XRP is a cryptocurrency banks will use for the internet of value. I'm in banking on it because I like... Oh, I'm in banking on it. Oh, and I'm banking on it because I got a lot of it. Gotcha. Yeah, I never really got into the whole cryptocurrency thing. Call me old-fashioned. I just believe in the good old dollar. We've got HDR turned off, or HDR looks off when it's turned on. I mean, yeah, your TV sounds like hella defective, dude. Like, it shouldn't be making a loud buzzing noise at all. That's not normal at all. So yeah, I'd try to get rid of it if I could. What TV do you use for the PS5 and Xbox Series X at the moment? No TV, because I don't have those consoles. Those consoles are not only not on my radar because I'm a PC gamer and I don't really care, but also because, I don't know, I wouldn't run out and buy a TV for those consoles because HDMI 2.0 is more than enough, and right now I've got a Q8FN that has every VRR feature that I need right now. It's got ALM, it's got which again, that's not a VRR feature. I'm talking about more so in this sense of, you know, you can get the low millisecond input lag and all that stuff. But I don't know, I just don't need to upgrade. I really don't. I have every TV I really need to get through this generation for sure, which is a 4K 60 generation. And as the games come out, a lot more people are going to see that, and they're going to be woefully disappointed, especially when Unreal Engine 5 becomes kind of like mainstay, because a lot of the technologies they showed was kind of geared towards lower powered machines and saving so you can get better performance metrics. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, I wouldn't waste my time upgrading a TV for next generation at all, especially because 120 hertz is literally not possible on those machines, PS5, Xbox Series X, without lowering some sort of setting, which once you get to a point where it's performance-wise acceptable, you're losing a hell of a lot of image quality that at that point, just game at the 4K mode and take whatever compromise they're giving you. That's just my recommendation there. We've got... I have a question. I'm waiting for 2021 because you said so. What 55-inch TV is going to be really good with VRR ARC, ARC, I read that wrong for some reason, and inexpensive? Hisense, maybe. I mean, it's anyone's ball game, really. I mean, you never know. Somebody like LG could really come up and surprise everybody by actually seriously trying and stop using IPS screens. I think that's killing their LED line, and they're being stupid by even wasting money on production, because nobody can really be buying those TVs, at least not to the extent that it is costing them to make them. So I don't know. It's anyone's ball game. I think 2021, though, I would give a slight edge towards Samsung, because I heard that they're making mini LEDs that are going to be just like the bee's knees, and so I'm really excited to see if that's true and what that really would do to the market here. What does Sony need to do for you to want a PS5? What Sony would have to do for me to want a PS5 is to show an undeniable library of games that focus more so on storytelling and game building, but also they would have to leverage the absolute performance of their hardware. Like, I don't want to just have them say, hey, we've added extra hair texture or just general textures that I could have found on a PC game. I want them to actually do unique stuff like utilize the microphones in their controller, you know, interactive gaming, like unique experiences you can't get on PC, you can't get anywhere else. If they can't do that, they have no value to me. That the proposition value is way too low. I mean, the only other thing that they could do that would have me sold faster than you can say the word sold is if they said, you know, we're doing a Bleach 1000-year Blood War Arc game, and oh my god, I would freaking lose my shit and drop everything and buy it. So that's like the only thing I could think that they really could do. But right now, the enthusiasm is low. Like, I do not want to play their Miles Morales game with their little propaganda and their little messages that they want to put in there, like I know they put in there, trying to be woke all the time. Like, I just want to escape from reality, have fun, and if Sony can't figure that out and get back to that, I have no patience in the world for them. So they'd have to knock off the antics, you know, the Last of Us antics, the Spider-Man antics, you know what I'm talking about. They'd have to stop doing stuff like that and just let the game tell the story without trying to make a political statement or being SJW. And right now, Sony's just on a downtrend towards that. They seem to be really aggressive about it. And yeah, so that's what they would have to do, man. Is the Hisense H9G worth buying? I have the 65-inch H8F, and I love it. Yeah, the H9G is worth buying. Just be mindful, you have to keep it offline. I don't recommend you do their update. And that's really it, man. I mean, it's a pretty darn good TV. Definitely one of the most impressive Dolby Vision experiences I've ever seen, and actually had me hopeful for the future implementations that Hisense can produce, seemingly, because they're one of the only people to get it seriously right. So that's what I think about that. What about the X950? I feel like the highlights are crushed sometimes. The X950 was a very underwhelming TV for me. I did not like it at all. I don't know if patches made it better, but when I reviewed it, I hated it. I barely could get settings going for it. I think the X950H maybe might be good for some people, but to me, I never really could get on board with it, you know? And that's just the honest truth of it all. So shout out to Dan for your donation of $2. I appreciate it, man. You said, Q, I really need your advice, bro. Shoot, man. Ask any question you want. That's what these hot mics are for. Shout out to Pac Millie 6970. I hope I said that right. For your donation of $5. That also helps us continue to grow our channel and do what we do here. You said, I heard what you said about consoles, but could a LG NanoCell 85 series 49-inch hold it down until 2021? I just play for the time being 120 FPS shooters. I mean, if you're okay with really, and hear me on this, man, really bad black levels, then yeah. I mean, the LG Nano series can hold you over. It's a potato, though, and a really crappy potato. And so I really don't recommend that. I mean, you'd probably end up paying more than if you just went with something like, you know, even the TCL options, I think would be a better holdover for $650 on sale, $699 everyday price. The NanoCell is a hard pass, man. I couldn't recommend that in my good mind to anybody. I'd have to have serious signs of cognitive decline to say that that's a good TV for sure. So that's kind of what we say there. Shout out to TV Kid 81 for your donation of $10. It helps us out and keeps these reviews coming and the awesome content. So you guys are killing it tonight. I thank you for showing the love. I really appreciate all you guys. You said, love the content, bro. Definitely waiting for the upcoming line of TVs to complement these new gaming consoles. Thanks for the honesty. Anytime. Yeah, I really truly feel like next year they're going to be really aggressive about marketing. It's like a rush to the finish line, right? They know everybody's excited for PS5 and Xbox Series X. So the first person to say, hey, look, we've got this feature and that feature aimed specifically towards Xbox gamers. This is the best TV for Xbox. I think you're going to hear a lot more terminology around that conversation. And I think next year might be really exciting for sure. Shout out to Dan I'm going to mess your name up. Petrico, I hope I said that right, for becoming a new member. Welcome to the family, man. I appreciate it. You know, the settings can be found in the members only section on our homepage. So just scroll down and you'll find all the settings and members only content there. But welcome to the team, man. I appreciate it. Roman G, what's going on? You said $500. I'm sorry, I'm reading your thing and I'm reading it all backwards, by the way. I thank you for your donation of $5. And you said, hey bro, what do you think about the 55 Q90R in terms of PC gaming? Because I want to upgrade my Q9FN to have more than 60 FPS and 4K. I think the Q90R is a good TV, but I think if you just want better, you want to go to the next level, you're going to have to upgrade next year for HDMI 2.1 and their features specifically, because I just don't feel like this year, you know, these batches of TVs are going to do that for you. And I'm not 100% certain that the Q950R has any kind of HDMI 2.1. I haven't really looked into that, to be honest with you, so I can't really say in all honesty.
There's no other reason for you to be here.
All right, so now the chat is lagging here, so you guys are gonna have to give me some time to get this chat back up. If I skipped over any of you guys' comments, just ask your question again and I'll be able to see it, because I'm trying to find the comments and it's kind of difficult because it's just lagging out now. So we're just gonna start right here where it says, what about the X950? I feel like, okay, so I already read that one. Chintu Pat, you said you're the best. I appreciate that, brother. Same to you. What are your thoughts about the Q90T 75-inch at its current price point? I think, honestly, it's not a bad deal, but it's not enough to justify paying that when I know next year they'll have something at that price range that's going to be better and a true upgrade, something that's truly new. So I mean, yeah, the price point's cute and everything, but they're just selling you a Q90R all over again, and I can't really say that that's, you know, it's really worth it, especially since they took away the One Connect box, making wall mounting less ideal. And I don't know, I just feel like Samsung's been on a downgrading trend with everybody else, and I wouldn't recommend the 75-inch version at the price point if you're looking at wall mount and, you know, it's just too much money, man, is what it really is. If it was a cheaper version, like the 55-inch, I think that would probably have a little bit more leeway to be recommended because, you know, the $1,200 price range, I mean, that's, you know, you could find a TV in that price range that easily has the same amount of cons. But once you start getting up into the 75-inch price range, things start getting a whole hell of a lot more competitive, and Samsung really needs to start offering some seriously new stuff to warrant that kind of investment. Which 2021 TV settings will you have settings for, or TV will you have settings for? It really just depends on the TVs. I have no idea what's coming out, so I have no idea what I'll end up getting. It really just depends. I always do community polls and ask you guys what you guys want to see and what you guys want me to review, so I mean, just keep an eye on that community tab and vote when the time comes so that you get your voice heard, man. What if I need settings for a particular TV from 2021? I think that's more going to be kind of like one of those things like it is now, where it's just kind of like, as it is, I'm like an everyday kind of person financially. Like, I'm not rich at all, so I can't cover every single TV. There's no possible way to do it, so I have to be very particular about the models that I do select based off of feedback. So if you really need a particular TV, hey, hopefully it's one of the more popular ones, because that's the only way I usually have to go about these types of review pieces here. So sorry if that's not helpful for you. Have you tried out Apple TV boxes? Haven't. Would they be any benefit over an onboard TV application or console? They are beneficial because, well, not necessarily a console, but definitely onboard TV apps. Like, TV apps are just not reliable, they're glitchy, and, you know, most of the time TV manufacturers like you to be dependent on their internal apps so they can collect and sell your information, you know, so that's just something that you find out with time. But I don't know, I just feel like any third-party box, whether it's you know, a Fire Stick or Apple TV or console that you're using to stream off of, I think that'll be adequate either way you look at it, man. Shout out to Light Peach for your donation of $5, helping the community out. I really appreciate it, brother. You said, do you have any settings on the Samsung NU8000? I don't. Not the NU8000. The only thing I have is the KS8000 from 2016. Those typical models I don't recommend. The NU line in general, like or like the 8000 line today, because they've taken away quantum dots and the One Connect box, and really it's just been like a downtrending spiral for Samsung. And so I don't have anything for that because I haven't recommended that TV. So without being able to really review it hands-on or really pay attention to it much, I don't have anything specific for that. Sorry, man. We have, seems like the QT series TVs right now are downgrades from the QR TVs, but Samsung still dominated in sales. Yeah, I mean, what it is really, when you look at Samsung in the store versus everybody else, there's just an undeniable level of saturation, brightness, and color. And honestly speaking, the 100% burn-in free guarantee that Samsung has is more of a proposition value than LG putting in G-Sync and saying, yeah, we're gaming TV, but just don't use static elements all day or as long as you want. Be careful with how you use it, be responsible, and you'll never get burn-in. I think that's a really unattractive offer for a serious gamer, and I think as a result, gamers flock to QLEDs and similar TVs because they don't want that risk, and I don't blame them. Like, as a main TV, my main TV would never be an OLED. Like, if that's all I had in my house, it would never happen. You know, my Samsung Q8FN was my main TV for years, and you know, before that it was the KS8000. Before that it was the 930E, the 930D, the X900E. Like, never OLED because of the risks of burn-in that it does have. Now they've gotten better with that as the years have gone on, but I mean, I again am only a year into my A8G, so I can't even say that I'll never get burn-in. It hasn't been like, you know, 7 years, 5 years. I mean, I don't know longevity-wise how long it'll last without, you know, getting burn-in. Even right now, as I do this live stream, I'm doing it with the full chat that you're seeing right now on your screen. I'm doing that on my A8G right now, and the whole time that it's just been up, it's just been over 30 minutes of the static bar on the screen, because I frankly don't care. I'm not going to baby my OLED, but you know, that's me. Like, some people are very different, but at least you kind of get an idea of how I use it, and maybe that might help. But yeah, no, that's pretty much the thing with the QLEDs though. Thoughts on the TCL R635 as a stopgap TV for the Xbox Series X while I wait for true HDMI 2.1. Yeah, I think it's a good stopgap TV. I don't think it's a bad stopgap TV. I think you'll do pretty good with that one as a just generally good holdover kind of TV. The best budget 50-inch TV till 2021. Hell, the best budget, I mean, I'd say the H9G for 50 inches. Do they have a 50-inch? I think so. I don't know. I mean, I don't really look at the 50-inch size, so I honestly don't know, really. I'd have to go back and look at it, but I think maybe like the H8F, maybe, H9G if they have a 50-incher. I don't think they do. I think it only has a 55. So maybe the H8G, or like, I don't know, maybe a P-Series. I mean, I really don't know. Like, that's a hard size, because they really stopped making TVs like that at that size that are really, really good. Because you have the 900H, you know, but like Sony is not trying, Samsung is not trying, and it's so depressing for me. Guys, listen to me. I need you to hear this, okay? I'm not saying all these TVs are bad because I want to just crap on every TV this year. I'm saying it because, like, when I've done these reviews for the last 5.5 years now, I mean, they used to be different. These companies really used to try. Even the B7 years back would have like a floating design, and it was all about like creating this mystical effect. The Samsung TVs with chrome trim, chromed out. They had logo illuminant features on their TV to make you feel like a luxury customer. You know, Sony with the black levels to die for, with motion drooling over. Like, that level of magic and wonder is just gone in today's market. And I get so frustrated with consumers because they're just like, oh, you're just whining, you're just complaining, stop complaining. We have more things important in the world to worry about than this. And I'm like, do you not understand? They're walking back what they gave you and giving you crappier versions. But of course, that's why I get all the hate, because I'm the only one that's going to compare it to what they used to do and expect them to keep improving and not regressing. And I guess in 2020, wanting people to improve and not regress backwards to caveman days are apparently bad things. So, you know, it is what it is. Roman G says, check, because now I can buy I could buy it for $1,500, 55-inch. The newer model comes in 2021, will cost a lot more. I thought the Q950R and the whole 8K line supported, well, I don't know. I don't know if the Q950R supports HDMI 2.1. I would have to really look over the specs, because I have literally no clue, like, at all, if that's something that they do have. Welsh says the NanoCell 81 has the worst blooming I've ever seen. I'd rather watch a TV from the 1980s. Yeah, it's pretty bad nowadays, that's for sure. Peter Parker, you said, you okay, my G? Yeah, I'm as good as I can be, right? Just like everybody else. PS5 or Xbox, if you had to choose. If I had to choose, I would pick the PS5, because I have a PC. I can get all the Xbox games on PC. That defeats any proposition value Microsoft could have had. And PlayStation, at the very least, I know I can't get, at the moment, Ratchet and Clank, Gran Turismo, some of their other titles I just won't get. So that alone, if I had to choose, it would be a PS5. Yeah, but those chromed out TVs were really expensive though. Not really. The KS line of TVs, they were kind of expensive, but they got more affordable, like we saw on a trend. What really made them expensive, like the KS line in particular, was the fact that they had quantum dots. They used to call them SUHD back then, but that's really what made it expensive. It was new tech that was really just taking off, becoming popular, and then TVs that could hit over 1,000 nits, that was like the holy grail back then. And the KS lines introduced the concept of HDR 1000 and so on and so forth. And so I think that's really what made it expensive. And, you know, local dimming was becoming really popular back then. So it really was an excellent value for the time period. So I mean, it was a fair price point. I paid like what, $14.99 back then, but it was for a 49-inch. So while yeah, that's expensive, that same 49-inch the next year went down in price, and you could have picked it up for like $9.99. You know, so that's also why I always tell you, you never want to be the first to buy these things, because they always go on sale, and things like that are just, they just are what they are. And then we've got pick a million. You said also respect on shitting on that Asian dude that's always wrong. Well, I don't try to, as you say, shit on anyone. I just try to set the record straight, because I know a lot of people have larger communities and they really do abuse their following with putting out misinformation or selling out because they're turning a profit. And, you know, I feel like, you know, there's a way you can be successful on YouTube without selling people out. So I don't want you to get the wrong idea. I'm not just going out of my way to attack these people personally. I'm trying to save unsuspecting consumers from, again, scams and deception and just ruthless kind of retail tactics and marketing tactics that just don't sit well with me, you know? PS5, alright, I already got that one. We have, hey man, I wanted to know if I should wait for the Xbox Series X until 2021 or just until after the holidays. I had it in my cart for about 2 weeks ago and stopped myself from clicking, or checking out. Well, honestly speaking, I wouldn't buy any of the next-gen consoles until you can walk in and just walk out with the console. A lot of these people, and I always laugh when I see it, because they walk out with these consoles from these you know, sites like I've never heard of before, weird backwater sites where you find these scalpers, and they walk away with these consoles, and the whole time I'm just like, unless you have a original retailer receipt that you can provide, you're going to be so screwed at the end of the day. Like, people are doing meetups on freaking like Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, getting PS5s and Xbox Series X. It's like, do not do that. Like, you have no manufacturer's warranty if you don't have a proof of purchase. Like, that's fact. Like, that's how they verify that you didn't steal the PS5, so, or the Xbox Series X. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I would wait until you could just go to a legitimate retailer, walk away with all the paperwork you need, you know, and do whatever you have to do, and worst comes to worst, you can exchange it if anything goes wrong, and it's not a big deal. You don't have to worry about guys camping outside, literally in beds outside of GameStop, trying to get the same console that you're just trying to exchange. So I think we gotta wait for the craziness to die down before any kind of reality will come out of these situations. So just wait, man. Honestly speaking, there's nothing to play on those new consoles anyway. That's why I don't get why everybody's freaking out. Like, what do you got? Miles Morales, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Sackboy. Now it's getting hard. Demon's Souls on PS5, on Xbox, maybe Dirt 5. I mean, like, it's hard. The bulk majority of the games have not released yet. And for that, I mean, just chill. Like, it's not even that serious. At least for me. I can't speak for anybody else, obviously. HDMI 2.0 with eARC is sufficient for great audio. Or, wait. eARC is sufficient for great audio, or would HDMI 2.1 improve the audio? HDMI 2.1 would improve the audio, but honestly, you know, HDMI 2.0 has been serving me just fine with eARC, so I don't have any problems using something like my Z9F soundbar and just enjoying the audio that I get out of that. Shout out to Strongside for becoming a member of the channel. So again, thank you for supporting what we do here and becoming a new channel member. Welcome to the family, man. I appreciate it. Would you recommend TV this year for a bedroom that wouldn't be used heavy, or what would you, would you recommend a TV this year? Okay, so you're saying would I do that? I mean, it really depends how often. I mean, you said it wouldn't be used heavily. I mean, it really just depends on what your preferences are, because that can dictate a lot of that stuff as well. But I mean, I could recommend something for this year. I mean, it just really depends on you, man, you know? Do you think TVs will get better next year? Next year? Yes, I do. I definitely think they're going to get better next year. I mean, this year was just kind of like everybody was freaking out buying toilet paper and quarantining, and it wasn't really focused so much on making TVs. And I think now, at least, they had a little bit more time to chill out. So I think they'll focus their efforts more on building TVs. Hopefully. We can only hope, because, you know, it is what it is. Samsung TVs have more DSE than my liking. Unfortunately, yes, that is the case. Samsung TVs do have DSE, and I don't know why they do that. Johnny asks, what's your take on the B10? Should I return it and wait for next year's model? I got it for $9.99 through a company discount. I think the B10 is actually a very impressive television. Now, I'll be very upfront with you. It's not going to be impressive out of the box. You're going to need adequate settings. I recommend mine. I haven't seen a single soul on YouTube come close to what I'm doing right now. I mean, I swear to God, I sat there for like 12 hours killing myself, literally getting sick, like making these settings using the A8G as a reference monitor. And I'm going to put those settings up later tonight after my video, after this video goes up. I mean, I've got a lot of work to do later tonight. It's going to be a busy night. But yeah, those settings are going up. If you want, you can join, become a member, get those settings. I'm telling you, like, I was blown away. And I think when most of you guys watching this stream right now, when you guys see the comparison video that I put up after this live stream is over, it's going to blow your mind that that's a B10. Like, oh my God, it's hanging in there with an A8G like you wouldn't believe. Like, incredible stuff. Like, way too close to justify the price of the AAG if you don't really care about contrast, depth, and clarity. If you're somebody that just wants, you know, the color and stuff like that, the AAG is really hanging in there. It ultimately did win, but it was hard fought, man. Like, really hard fought. And in some scenes, it actually did get beaten out for color and some other things. So it's really not that simple. So I definitely think that it was something worth looking at. So yeah, no, I think that the B10 is actually a good TV, especially given the current price right now. Best Buy has it for $11.99, and you got it for $9.99. Yeah, dude, that's a good deal for that TV for sure. Johnny says, awesome, I will join. Well, prematurely, but hey, welcome, man. I'll put it up and you'll see what I mean, man. Just wait, dude. I'm blown away. Like, I can't wait to see more stuff on it. I mean, these settings are pretty much brand new. I haven't really tested like everything that I want to see with it, but from what I saw, like, good God, it's pretty slick. Enoch says, I thoroughly believe the HDR10 and HDR10 Plus can take advantage providing good quality LED or QLED TVs. Yeah, I think, you know, HDR10 Plus and HDR10 definitely have more room for growth at this stage than Dolby Vision, because every time I watch a Dolby Vision movie, I'm not blown away. Like, everybody says that it's supposed to be this wow experience, and that it is. And then, like, it's hard because I'm in the AV community like you guys, right? And like, I watch all of these other YouTubers, and that doesn't have to be a secret. I watch literally anybody who talks about a television. I want to see what they're saying, you know, because most of my viewers are going to do the same thing. So I want to see what you guys are saying out there, right? And as I'm watching these guys go on and on about how wonderful Dolby Vision is, and then I'm watching them do the side-by-side comparisons on their channel, and Dolby Vision lacks so much more color than HDR10. And I'm like, how is nobody saying it? How is this a thing? But, you know, it is what it is, I guess. But yeah, I think HDR10 definitely has a lot more room for growth if more people would support it, because it looked really good when I saw it on the Vizio OLED for sure. We've got Q9FN is a great TV but needs HDMI 2.1. I disagree, man. You don't need HDMI 2.1 for PS5 or Xbox Series X. You really don't. You can still get 1440p for Xbox easily, very easily. PC, you can get 1440, 120. You can get for PlayStation, you know, the 1080. It's not ideal, but you can do that. PlayStation's hard because they don't support 1440p. I don't know why they don't do that. I think that's really stupid. It's a missed opportunity. But yeah, no, the Q9FN's great, and Game Motion Plus is the best feature Samsung has. Better than any manufacturer, period, for game mode, because of Game Motion Plus. Because you have the ability to smooth out the jitters of motion and be able to get that same responsive input lag. Like, that's... Why is nobody talking about this? Like, I don't know, man. I'm always the only one doing these kinds of things, and then everybody looks at me like, well, maybe it's just you. Maybe it just is, I guess, but I'm okay with that. But I don't know, man. You don't need it, man. You really don't. HDMI 2.1 is overhyped, for sure. We've got, the only thing that puts me off of the Hisense is they burn more electricity with the back lighting. I mean, yeah, if you're worried about the electricity bill, I mean, I really don't know, but I would look into the Energy Star rating and see like what it would cost to run it for the year or something like that.
Have you been training?
I am waiting on I'm waiting to buy a new television, partly based off of your advice, but do you believe next year's televisions will even be any better, or do you expect them to be lackluster or continue to be lackluster? I expect them to improve, I really do. I mean, it's not just because it's a new year, but like there's legitimate talks of technology that wasn't going to be ready until 2021, particularly like implementations of mini LED with quantum dots, different from what we have now. I think that's the biggest thing that I'm seeing here. But yeah, I think they're going to do something better. At the very least, offer full 48 gigabit per second HDMI 2.1, which again, that's the full specification, so I don't see why they're just not doing that right now. But, you know, that's just what I'll say there. We've got hey Quantum, if you had to choose between this year's X900H, X950H, BX, Q90T, what would you choose for gaming and movies? I don't know yet. I don't know yet because I haven't had the chance to see all of them with my content in the same room and like actually test everything out. I saw the X900H, X950H, and the B10, but stay tuned until tomorrow is what I'll say. I'll have a more rounded answer if you get my drift. Those last HDR plus settings for the Q8FN were awesome, man. Can't wait to see your settings on the A8G. Still waiting for it to be delivered. Going on a month and a half since I ordered it. Damn, like they got you waiting a month and a half? Who's the retailer on that, man? That's crazy. Well, yeah, whenever they finally do get around to delivering that TV, yeah, the A8G settings, boy, let me tell you, they really razzle-dazzled my mind. That's for sure. Most definitely. And for all my LG OLED owners out there that have kind of been looking and kind of peeping and maybe thinking about it, now how is a good time to become a member? I'm not gaslighting, I'm not like hyping this up. Like, dude, like it's legit. It's totally legit. And just so like I kind of clear the air, because I know there are some people out there that kind of feel sour because I do memberships, and the only reason I do that is because I'm not rich and I can't afford to do like all of these reviews on, you know, all the mini TVs that I am getting in. And you know, it is good to have the help out there to be able to compete and be able to show you guys the stuff you want to see. And I'm telling you right now, that's why I set the price so low. I set them to $5 because, I mean, truth be told, I can go in and set the price as high as I really want. I keep it at $5 on purpose because I'm not in it to just nickel and dime you. It's just like throw me a can of soda or something like that for the trouble, you know, so I can do something to help the channel out. And I use that money to grow the channel, so it's really as transparent as it gets, man. I'm not in here to screw anybody or shake anybody down or charge anybody, whatever. But when you all see those settings I'm gonna drop later tonight, like, bro, it's fire. I'm not even gonna be humble about it. It's fire, dude. Like, I'm excited. I'm excited to see the reactions to those settings because, like, I really killed myself to make those like as universal as I could for everybody too. So it's pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie. But I'll digress. My 900F is 23 milliseconds and I can feel it. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. We have you tried out, okay, I already got that one. We've got,
If you're smart, you stay down.
so glad you're doing live streams again. No problem, man. It's on a freight company. I live in Wyoming. It's a pain sometimes. It's sitting in Minneapolis right now. Damn, that is always the worst, dude. Like, I hate when I see a TV, like, in an area that I know, like, it shouldn't be sitting in for too long, and I'm like, hey, you guys want to do something about that? And they're just like, oh, yeah, any day now. Yeah, we just gotta wait. It's like they always have a reason for why they can't deliver your stuff. It's so frustrating. Bruh, get that money. Fuck them. I mean, it's honestly, I swear to God, dude, it's really not about money, like, at all. Like, the only reason I charge is so that I have a way of generating a little extra to help this channel grow, because as time goes on, these TVs get more expensive, you know. I can't do it all by myself, right? Nobody can do it all alone. Some guys choose to sell out their viewers and become sponsors. I choose to ask my viewers for $5 if they can spare it, help me out, and in return get some kick-ass settings, and we grow the channel that way. But yeah, man, I agree though, fuck them, you can't please everybody, and you know, some people are just gonna hate on me just because of my political values, just because of my preferences for TVs, just because the sky is blue and the grass is green. You're never gonna make everybody happy, and believe me, I know. But I appreciate it, man. Light Peach, for sure. Representing already as a member, I appreciate that, man. Sure. Dude, just tell me what TV to buy. So confused buying a TV for my bedroom. I mean, you gotta give me a couple models and I'll help you narrow them down. And that's kind of for like everybody that's wondering, if you're ever like stuck between a model, I'm always gonna tell you like why it's bad and the downsides of buying things. But if you present me with a couple choices that you have right now, like, hey, I'm in between this model, and this model, should I get this? I'll let you know. And if all of those options you presented are really that bad, I'll tell you don't buy. But for the most part, I can help you narrow it down, especially if you say I don't have a choice. If you say I don't have a choice and you have to pick from those options, I will absolutely help you find the better between those models. That's kind of like a cheat sheet to getting me to recommend the TV that you are looking for this year. Because, I mean, if there's a way I can save you from spending the same amount of money and getting, you know, a lesser result, I will. But if you need it now, let me know you need it now and I'll help you out. Bro, the LG C9, LG C10, or the Sony A8 or Sony A9, tell me which. Okay, so the C9 I can't find anywhere. That's not a bad TV. The C9 destroys the C10. It's a way better TV. Even though you don't have the full capabilities of the C10, I really don't care. You know, HDMI 2.1 is overhyped. VRR is really overhyped. I really don't care about all that stuff. The C9 is really solid, at least compared to the C10. The A8H, I'd imagine. I don't know if it's A8H or A8G. Whichever one of those TVs, don't matter. Both of those TVs are solid, but again, don't expect HDMI 2.1 stuff. I would not recommend the A9 series. The A9 series, for whatever reason, is just ridiculously, unrealistically overpriced for what they offer. The A8H is way more than enough. Like, way more than enough. And out of all those TVs, it would go in this order. The A8 for the best picture quality. The C9 for, you know, a little bit more in the way of gaming features. The C10, if, again, you're kind of desperate for VRR, G-Sync type stuff. And the A9, if you really just want to spend a boatload of money for no reason and have bragging rights, because I can't recommend it. I just, it's too much. I mean, and the centerpiece idea that they had to use the TV as a centerpiece, nobody does that, dude. Like, it's just expensive for no reason, honestly. And it's not knocking it. I'm not saying it's a bad TV that can't produce an awesome picture, because that's not true at all. But for the price, I wouldn't do it. Quantum, out here ignoring my question, LMAO. Not at all. What happens with these live streams is that it gets convoluted and I can't see everybody's questions. So if, for any of you guys, if I miss your question, please ask it again, because I really don't see it. It loads, the chat loads too quick. I have people kind of typing, some people type multiple comments from the same person. So the chat just keeps going and populating with new questions. So just bear with me, guys. What is better? What is a better TV, and which would you choose? The LG Nano 90 or the Sony X900H? 900H all day, every day. Nano 90 IPS gray blacks, deal breaker every day of the week. Dodge says thanks, and we have. I'll be getting the last C9 in stock then. I already placed my order. Was just wondering if I should cancel or not. Nah, absolutely not, dude. If you track down a C9 in 2020. Do that. Definitely do that, dude. Like, because the TVs today, they just aren't hitting as hard as they used to hit. You know, I don't know, man. Things are just getting made to a lesser quality. So you're good there, man. And you have those lovely DTS encoders for 5.1 surround sound. So again, you win for sure. We've got strong side. You said there, haha. We've got Red Baron, you said, did Sony fix the blurring at 4K 120 yet? Oh, you're asking Red Baron? Yeah, because I have no idea. Ron says, any new updates for the X900H coming? I have no idea. If any of you guys work for Sony or have any ideas on that, feel free to let Ron know. Red Baron says, thank you, not a problem, man. Should I get the X950H right now or wait for a TV next year? I would wait. The X950H was just really highly unimpressive. Roman, you said, K, would be nice if you could check specs for it. I need it. I need definitely HDMI 2.1 using the RTX 3080 and can't use the whole potential because of the Q9FN can only do 60 FPS at 4K. I don't know. I can see. Let's see. Let's try to minimize this window. If anybody has the answer, let me know if a Q950R, I believe, has HDMI 2.1. I have no idea. Like, I don't follow specs that closely on TVs I don't have. Yeah, it says that it does from flat panel HD, so there you go. It says Samsung unveils 8K Q950R with HDMI 2.1, so you should be good if that's what you're worried about. There you go. I never really look into this kind of stuff, man, especially at those TVs. I don't really care for 8K right now, and I don't recommend it because there's no 8K content, you know?
Any more like you?
Any chances you'll be doing picture settings for the Samsung Q80T? I saw your review, but I would love some settings from you. Unfortunately, not the Q80T. I just couldn't push myself to do that model. So I won't have settings for that particular model, but there will be settings for the Q something. Alright, so Quantum, which drink... What? Quantum, do you drink alcohol? Do I drink alcohol? No, I don't drink alcohol. I can't say that I do. I drink like once every 2 years to 8 months. Like, it's an extraordinarily rare occurrence that I would drink anything because I don't like it. But that's just a personal thing for me. It depends. Why do you ask? It's a random question. Cobalt Speaker says opinions on affiliate marketers. Are you asking for my opinion or just like anyone's opinion? 'Cause my opinion on affiliate marketers is that I feel like you could totally do it ethically. I don't see anything wrong with the affiliate marketing programs. I think if they would have come at it like this, like, hey guys, listen, you know, this channel does not make a whole lot of money. We're not going to sell out and start collecting review samples from retailers or from sponsors. We're just, you know, going to put this information down here. Help us out by buying from the Amazon link. It helps our channel grow. I would respect the fuck out of that, right? But the way they go about it, dude, where they're just like, oh my god, this is the best TV ever. And then come back out and be like, well, I did say to wait until 2021, didn't I? Gosh golly. It's like, well, all right, guy, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Either you're being honest with people or you're just trying to sell these TVs off and then wait till next year and keep doing it over and over again to make profit. And 9 times out of 10, it's abused. So that's my opinion on affiliate marketers. If they would bring some ethical behavior to it, I would have no problem with it at all. What are your top 2 TVs for watching... or for TV and movie watching? My A8G, personally, you can still find it in 2020, so that's definitely one of the top ones. And it's hard because like the Q8FN is the A8G and the Q8FN, those are my top 2 TVs personally. But that's not really going to help you in this market right now, so it's kind of tough. Though I'm not going to lie though, like, you guys don't even know. Like, I'm going to sound like a total loser. I'm just gonna sound like a total loser, and you know what? That's okay, because it's alright. I was watching My Hero, Hero Rising, and the ending scene where you've got, you know, Deku and Bakugo, and they're like going through it. After plugging in my Q8FN HDR plus settings, I literally was like choking them back with how beautiful the image looked. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. I don't know. It was just so moving. I was so immersed in the story. The lights were flying off across the screen as Deku's blasting by, bro. Oh my god, I was so hyped watching that part of the movie. I might actually have to show you guys what it looked like so you can understand why I'm saying this. Like, oh my god, like tops 10 out of 10. That scene was fire though. Oh my god. Let me stop because I'll turn this into a My Hero Academia like hour-long rant. Like, oh my god, like I loved it. It was fantastic for sure though. So yeah, those are my top 2 TVs for sure. Will the new TCL 8 series in 2021 be able to compete with the A8G or the Q8FN? I can't say. I haven't seen them yet. I hope so. I like competition. Cobalt Speaker said, bro, you cried over TV settings. And I would say not the TV settings so much so as how beautiful my TV looked on a show that was very moving and emotional. You know, he's sacrificing his power. He's going through this journey. Like, I love emotional stories, dude. And that scene with the music hitting at the end like that, and then seeing my TV that I've had for now since 2018 look the best I've ever seen it look on anything, I think that really was quite moving for me because I was able to see that this TV still had room for growth. And not only that, but like something I really cared about, telling a story I loved, was really moving. So I didn't cry. I'm not sitting here sobbing and weeping, sniffling, so no, I'm sorry that that's what you got out of that, but no, I was just kind of like choking them back, man, you know, like, damn, this is a moving scene, because you know, when something's able to express a story better and get the point across clearer, you're going to feel the impact of that drama way more. And it doesn't sound like it, but when you have a TV that immerses you in your content, it's just you and the story, man, and you connect on a different level than just it just being a TV. That's what I'm saying. That's what I try to give you guys. Like, it's all about finding a TV that's more than just a TV. It's a story. It's a window through that story, putting you in that world, that fantasy world that helps you escape reality. And you can get very emotional. You can go on that adventure with that character. So that's what it was. Hopefully that explained it. We've got We Love You, Quantum. I appreciate that, man. Thanks for showing the love. What could go wrong if I buy a 50-inch Westinghouse for $300? Oh boy. Well, everything, really. Power failure issues, audio dropouts, clouding, light leaking, edge bleeding, motion artifacts, jaggies, you know, like aliasing, basically. I mean, like, a lot, just a lot. Don't do it. Don't do it. Save the $300. Don't do it. It's not worth it, man. Do you recommend me getting the A8H right now, or should I just wait? It depends. If you need a TV right now and you're not looking for HDMI 2.1, then go for it. Because, I mean, I find it really hard to see, you know, OLEDs right now getting much better than where they are right now. Unless they do something crazy next year like Quantum Dot, I wouldn't know. But again, you're so close to next year, it would be smarter to just kind of wait if you have the room to. That'd be what I would say there. Yes, show us that scene in a new video, please. Yeah, I'll do what I can. I'll definitely have to get that scene going, man, because I don't think you guys understand, man. That last scene, I've never seen a TV look like that. Swear to God, dude. Like, I've never in my life seen a TV look like the Q8FN on that scene. Not even my A8G. Like, I literally watched the same scene on my A8G and felt nothing for that scene. Like, that's how legit it looked after those HDR plus settings I just made. Dude, bro, I can't do it justice. Like, my God, like, blew me away, to say the absolute least. That story had so much more impact. But yeah, I'll definitely have to show you that scene. Should my Q8FN last the next last console generation? It should last this console generation. You're fine. You said, I know most games will be 4K 60 anyways, as you mentioned, but I'm wondering if games will take advantage of 120 or 8K on the PS5 and Xbox. Not a chance in hell, man. You basically have a glorified 20 series graphics card with HDMI 2.1 capabilities. You are not going to be getting fully realized 8K on PS5 or Xbox Series X. The best you're going to have is an Xbox One S type situation where it's just upscaling and stretching the image and pixels out. Like, it's not going to be a true 8K image. It's not going to be worth your time. And as far as 120 FPS, we're already seeing they have to compromise resolution. They have to compromise textures. So again, I don't put my hat on 120 hertz. Like, it's not that serious. Latency goes down, which is great and everything, but honestly, 4K 60 is more than adequate for sure. So hopefully that helps there. Alright guys, well, that's pretty much it for the night. I'm gonna kind of end here and go spend time with the family. I appreciate you guys coming out. I'll definitely be trying to put up that scene, as Joshua said, to kind of show you guys that My Hero scene. You guys aren't ready for it, man. It really, if some of my guys out here that have a Q8FN, that are members that have that setting and have, you know, that movie I'm talking about, show people what I'm talking about, dude, because, like, it's incredible. Unfortunately, there are so many restrictions on YouTube and yada yada, but you guys have got to see it, man, for sure, man. Most definitely. Final question of the night, Josh says, is the Sony A8H better than the A8G? No, the A8G is better. And thank you, Quantum, for all your videos. Yeah, guys, I mean, you enjoy. I hope you guys have a nice night, and I appreciate you. Thanks for watching, and until the next live stream, I'll see you guys later.